How you doing, everybody? So I received a request from a friend and subscriber to basically go over my team and how I basically what my mindset was when I built the team that I'm using for the session that you guys probably were originally watching before you were linked to this video. So basically, I want to spend this video just to kind of give you my prerogative, my mindset for how I went through the team building process for this specific team that I'm talking about here. This one is the UU team that I'm using. This is being recorded before the session is recorded, so I don't know who's going to be the MVP. But I can tell you what each of them does, and then maybe you'll see which one ends up being the MVP in the end anyway. So we'll see if we can go from there. So first things first. Now, this wasn't the first one that I really thought of on the team. I guess I should start with the one that I first thought of. Which one was that? No, actually, this one probably was the first one I thought of. It's a Choice Scarf Darmanitan. It's very, very standard. I've never used Darmanitan in competitive before, and I'm sure that comes as a shock to a bunch of people. It's so damn good, but I missed out on 5th gen, basically competitive battles almost completely. Like, I only played a very choice few at the end of 5th gen, and actually no, it was more like in the middle, because I'm thinking of Black and White 1, so it was before Black and White 2 came out. I played a very choice few 5th gen Wi-Fi competitive battles, and I basically missed out on the rest of it. So I've never used Darmanitan before competitively. I used it when I was testing this team out, and it did very well. So, but it's very standard, and I figured, what's the best place to start with something like this is the standard set. Flare Blitz, Earthquake, Rock Slide, U-Turn. Gets great coverage on these. It hits unresisted throughout the entirety of Pokemon, I think, if I remember correctly. It gets completely unresisted coverage with these, but it's only locked in one move because of the Choice Scarf. I'm running a Jolly because it has Sheer Force to boost its attack, and it really doesn't need much else. It's got base 140 attack and 95 speed, and that's pretty much all you need out of Darmanitan. But I figured two things. First thing is I didn't want to use a nickname that Dunn uses on all of his Darmanitan, which is Royd. Hang on. Sorry, I need to take a drink. Didn't want to use Dunn's nickname, which was Royd, on this Darmanitan, so I wanted to think of a nickname that wasn't directly referencing him, and I guess I kind of ended up referencing Fufu instead because I nicknamed it Darmanatrix, and that's really hard to pronounce. But it's Darmanatrix to Darmanitan. So yeah, very standard. But I wanted to use it in such a way that it would have less trouble with stuff like Stealth Rocks and switching in and out all the time, because it does U-turn a lot, and it gives me initiative for switching and all of that stuff. So, excuse me. I wanted to use it in such a way where I could heal it at some point in the battle if it was low on health, because it's going to be low on health from Flare Blitzing and switching out all the time. So I decided I wanted to use something with either Healing Wish or Lunar Dance in the case of Cresselia. I ended up focusing on Amaryllis the Shaman, who has a Lepa Berry just because Synthesis only has 8 power points, Seed Flare only has 8 power points, and since this is a specially defensive wall, I want it to be able to stay in for the long haul and not have to rely on a non-stab move as its main form of attack. So I really didn't think it needed the leftovers. I thought that something else needed the leftovers more, and I play basically with item clause in mind every time I play. I don't know why, it's just I think it's a product of 4th gen competitive Wi-Fi battling or something like that, but either way I'm using a Lepa Berry because I don't want these two to run out of power points when I might need them in order to do stuff. And really, Shaman has a means of increasing its attacking capability with Seed Flare because it gives a 40% chance of dropping special defense. Earth Power has a chance of dropping special defense as well. It's not Serene Grace, so it's not going to drop it as frequently, but it will do it often. Synthesis can heal it, and then I've got Healing Wish so that way I can heal Darmanitan if I need to, if it's low on health, or I can heal the next member of the team, Farah the Swallow, and if you get the reference, then oh my god. You and me are on the same wavelength, and I don't know how you would get it, but anyway. Choice Banded Swallow. I really like Swallow. I really like it so much. It was, I think I used it on a 5th gen competitive team when I was playing the 5th gen competitive games. I think I was using like Pokemon Online or something that isn't Showdown for 5th gen games, because I think it was around before Showdown was. But I really hate Swellow's 6th gen sprite. It just looks stupid to me for some reason. It's like, why couldn't you keep this, you know? This looks pretty badass. But whatever, I'm not one to judge, I suppose. I'm not the one making the game, so I can't really say anything. But yeah, Choice Band and Swellow got scrappy. Brave Bird, Return, U-Turn, Quick Attack. Can't touch Steel's worth shit, but I have things to deal with Steel types, and we'll get into that a little bit more in just a few minutes, because we've already seen 1, and I guess kind of 2. We'll see 3 in just a few minutes. Oh god, damn it, I should have got more sleep last night. But we'll move on into Vice the Clawitzer. Don't ask me why. Clawitzer reminds me of Skies of Arcadia. I have no idea, but I was like, oh, that looks like the Moonstone Cannon, and yeah. Who usually fires the Moonstone Cannon? Vice does. Assault Vest Clawitzer. This one's basically Tommy's set. He basically used it to pretty good effect, and I needed a water type on my team, and I had a room for a bulky attacker, so I was like, yeah, Clawitzer will work, whatever. It's got really good special defense with its with the Assault Vest. It's up near 135 with this spread, if I recall correctly. I don't exactly remember because I didn't really look at the calculations that well. But yeah, got Scald on it for stab because Confusion Hacks are stupid and you shouldn't rely on them to win battles for you, so I'd rather rely on burns. Ice Beam, Dark Pulse, Aura Sphere because Dragon Pulse. Really, Dragon type moves got a big nerf this gen with all the Fairy types running around, so I don't really see too much of a use in running Dragon Pulse. I mean, I guess for super effective attacks on dragons, but I could just use Ice Beam, honestly. They're the same strength, and Ice Beam hits for better coverage, so I don't know. I don't know if I like the fact that Dragon type moves got that kind of nerf, but they were pretty damn powerful past few gens, so especially with the addition of Outrage as a physical move, that was really important for a lot of dragons. So yeah, not using Dragon Pulse, using Ice Beam instead. Even though it doesn't get the Mega Launcher boost, it's still pretty damn powerful with modest max special attack. So now we move on to Marshal the Magneton. Oh, I love this guy so much. And it's not just because he's named after the robot from Sword of Mana. It's a Violite, and the ability is analytic. Now, there's a very good reason why the ability is analytic, and that's because of the fact that I can bluff that this is a Steel-type Trapper, because it has Magnet Pull as its ability normally, which prevents Steel types from switching out unless they have, you know, like Volt Switch for Fortress, or, you know, U-Turn for... I don't think any Steel types get U-Turn actually, but you get what I mean. Like, if they have Volt Switch, they can switch out. If they have Baton Pass, they can switch out, but they can't if they don't have those and they're a Steel type. I'm bluffing that, and it's worked out pretty damn well in the past for me, because basically what I use this Magneton for, it is a core killer in Yu-Yu. It destroys both Mega Aggron and Florges, because it takes very little damage from Florges. Moonblast because it's not very effective, and even with 176 special defense at base 70 with the Violite, it doesn't take that much from it. It does have to switch out after repeated abuse, but not too often. Now you might be saying, oh well, you know, Mega Aggron probably, you know, usually runs Earthquake in order to attack other Steel types because it normally can't hit Steel types otherwise. And I say yes, it does, but normally if they do that, they're running a bulky spread. Almost no one runs Mega Aggron with speed investment because it gets a speed drop when it is in its Mega form. So because of that, I'm taking advantage of that, and I've got Magnet Rise on Magneton, which basically makes it immune to ground type moves. One of its biggest weaknesses... Sorry, taking another drink. Lots of talking, and I'm not used to it anymore. Magnet Rise, because it outspeeds Mega Aggron, even on the turn that it Mega Evolves when it has base 60 speed. And then they can't touch me. So it just literally sits there, and they think I have Magnet Pull, so I basically bluff that, and then I attack them with Thunderbolt and kill them. And then if they come in with Florges, I can attack them with Flash Cannon and 3-hit KO them. Or maybe it's a 4-hit KO, I don't know. It's got a good amount of special attack, and its special attack investment puts it up around I'm going to say 123, but I'm not 100% sure on that. And somebody is calling me. Where's my phone? It's over there. I'm not going to bother. Okay, but yeah, Thunderbolt, Flash Cannon, Magic Coat just for something that might want to use like Stealth Rocks or something like that. I can come in with it at the beginning and Magic Coat those back. Actually, does Magic Coat work like that? I forget if it does or not, but I haven't used it on Stealth Rocks yet, so I'm under the assumption that it does. It might just be status. Either way, I'm using it for that reason. Maybe it's just Magic Bounce that does that, but yeah, you get my point. Magic Coat is there in case they need to status me. They can't Toxic me, so they might want a Will-O-Wisp, and then I can Magic Coat it back on them, and that's a potential threat crippled. So that's basically how this Magneton functions, and it's worked out pretty damn well so far. I've run into Mega Agron in every single match I tested this team with, and it has killed every single one of them, every single time. And, well, I won't say that because this one guy, when I used Magnet Rise on him, he was so flabbergasted by the fact that not only did I stay in on his Victini, because I'm pretty sure I can take a V-Create from a Victini. I don't think I can take it from if it's banded. Maybe I can, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I haven't confirmed it with a calc. But not only did I stay in on his Victini, because I knew he was going to U-turn with it because it's a Scarfer and that's what they all do, I also Magnet Rised on his Agron when it Mega Evolved, and he literally sat there for 150 seconds and lost due to inactivity. So that was pretty hilarious, and I'm sorry to the guy that happened to, but you pretty much gave me a case in point for why to use this guy more often. So that's how Magneton works. Now that I've spent a million years on it, we'll move on to the final member of the team. Hasn't seen much action at all yet. It's a physically defensive Gardevoir. Can't use Mega Gardevoir because that's in Borderline or OU now, but hasn't seen too much use. Basically what this is, it is physically defensive, it has Calm Mind. I needed something that had balanced defenses because I have a couple of things with special defense investment already, and I only have one with physical defense investment, but I wanted something to be able to wall special hits at least relatively well when Shaman goes down due to Healing Wish if this turns into a long and drawn out battle. So that's why I'm using this Gardevoir. It's Psyshock, Moonblast, Wish, Calm Mind. It can actually take on Florges pretty well with a Calm Mind up, because it has Psyshock, so that'll 2-hit KO I think at +1 if I recall correctly. I have this kind of an EV investment spread because I wanted it to have more HP than Clawitzer, so that way it can wish more than 50% of its health back, and because Clawitzer's got an Assault Test, it's not going to be able to get its health back any other way, and that's what Gardevoir will help with. So basically, Shaman can Healing Wish on Darmanitan, Swellow, or Clawitzer, or Magneton, and then I have a backup with Gardevoir so that it can wish them and not, die in the process, or hopefully not die in the process of doing that. So yeah, that's the team I'm going to be using for the session, and hopefully this wasn't too boring to let you guys know how I have the team ready to play. Let's move on to actually fighting some people and move on to the session itself. So thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you in the session.